early, landing his jab right there that really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round. But then we see
move over to your left so I can see
the right hand grazes Mike Tyson by Jake Paul. That would have been a good shot had it been on the chin. So
Mike Tyson, the man who once knocked out a bear, is now revealing some seriously strange behind-the-scenes information. If you've ever seen Tyson in the ring, where his punches seem to break wall, you'll be shocked to learn that during the Jake Paul fight, his punches barely landed. That legendary Tyson power was nowhere to be found.
Jake Paul landed a beautiful jab with right hand first, right there, and knocked Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike was highly off balance right there. I don't like how his legs look. Something wrong with the mouth skill.
That affects his oxygen.
Find out why you think a YouTuber with almost no fights could make it in the ring with one of the most feared boxers in history. You're not the only one who has thought that. The truth about the fight is stranger than any joke Jake Paul could make about it, which is why you should wait for some jaw-dropping revelations before you decide that the fight is just another money grab. For anyone who thought Jake Paul was rising through the boxing ranks the right way by working hard, fighting hard, and winning respect in the ring, they were wrong. Tyson's scandal will be a harsh wake-up call. Jake Paul says that boxing isn't about fighting anymore, it's about image marketing and big paychecks wrapped up in a carefully planned show.
They're definitely uninformed.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, he is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a lot of blows.
Tyson was right, and I was wrong. You know, you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and you know, if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money. And he's like, you fucking... So he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, this fucking asshole says that, you know, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12. And he throws me in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that, too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old. And he's like, you honestly think this kid's gonna do?
The fight was planned. Jake Paul doesn't just train for fights months before the over-the-top event. His team plans the whole thing. The heated fights on social media were planned down to the last tweet by the feud you saw at the press conference. Tyson said that everything that happens before a fight between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor is staged to get as much attention as possible. This isn't about rivalries or pride, it's about building Jake's persona. Whether they win or lose, the goal is the same: keep Jake Paul at the center of every talk and on their old fight posters.
Fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago. Now this script has went viral. Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement, pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style. Now let me just stop right there. Even before I sing this script, that's exactly what was going to happen. Like, what else would happen? Would Mike Tyson come out?
Many fans are already glued to their screens, fully involved in the drama by the time Jake steps into the ring. Tyson stated that the fight itself is almost secondary to the hype machine behind it. The titles, hashtags, and viral moments are what really matter. It's boxing remade as a reality show, with Jake as both the protagonist and the villain. He's playing a character, not an athlete.
Jake Paul landed a beautiful jab with right hand first, right there, and knocked Mike off balance 2 times. And Mike was highly off balance right there. I don't like how his legs look. Something wrong with the mouth skill.
That affects his oxygen intake, right?
In the third round of his fights, Jake Paul seems to undergo a sudden transformation. You see the confidence boost, how Jake goes from hesitant swings to landing punches with theatrical precision. But is it raw skill or part of the pre-arranged spectacle? And did you notice Tyson's legendary power was missing? Yes, you heard it right. This sudden shift might be another carefully timed act to keep the crowd engaged, making Jake look like he's rising to the occasion. Whether it's adrenaline or clever choreography, one thing's clear: Jake knows how to create a moment that keeps fans talking and buying tickets for the next music match. What makes this even more ridiculous is that Jake Paul's so-called boxing career has little to do with real skill. Tyson was completely honest about it. Jake isn't trying to become a legendary fighter. Instead, he's a marketing genius who has figured out how to sell the illusion of being a real fighter. His fights are meant to feel like major events, but let's not forget, The caliber of his opponents, retired athletes, check aging fighters, check names that draw headlines, but pose little danger in the ring. Double-check Tyson didn't mince words. Jake Paul's rise is built on spectacle, not substance. The fight was planned.
Cautiously, Tyson lands a few jabs, but Paul's youth shows in his superior ability. Paul connects with a quick 1-2 combination before retreating. Tyson's timing appears slightly off, his punches a fraction slower than his prime. Round 2. Tyson comes alive, cutting off the ring more effectively. He lands a thunderous left hook to Paul's body that draws a collective gasp from the crowd. Paul weathers the storm, using his reach advantage to pepper Tyson with...
But let's talk about Jake's training. If you've seen those dramatic clips of him sweating it out in the gym, hitting bags like his life depends on it, and sprinting like he's practicing for the Olympics, Tyson has news for you. It's all for show. According to Tyson, Jake's workouts are more about optics than actual preparation. They're designed to produce viral content, not boxing skills. Every punch, every grunt, every bead of sweat is carefully staged for maximum impact on Instagram and YouTube. It's not about becoming a better fighter, it's about looking like one.
Expected it to be. What is your assessment of Jake Paul, the boxer?
A very good fighter.
Do you think he deserves respect from the public?
Absolutely.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
And honestly, who needs to train like a pro when you've got a contract that promises you millions no matter what happens in the ring? Tyson revealed one of the most absurd secrets of Jake Paul fights. His paychecks are non-negotiable. Whether Jake wins by knockout, loses brilliantly, or gets sent flying into the ropes, he walks away with a fortune. This isn't how classical boxing works. Most fighters earn based on ticket sales, pay-per-view revenue, and their real performance. Jake, he's got a golden parachute that ensures he's paid handsomely regardless of the outcome. Tyson was blunt. There's no real risk for Jake. Why go all out in the ring when your paycheck is already locked in?
It wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. No. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought, how Mike fought?
Well, you know, you can tell something was wrong with the Tyson leg.
Yeah, the knee.
So he couldn't. His balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that? I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing.
Yeah.
His balance was off.
His balance was off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. You know, overall, like, how do you see Jake growing from this, and who do you want to see him fight against now?
Well, you know, I'm like...
But it doesn't stop there. Tyson also shared how Jake Paul's team manipulates fight conditions to give him every possible advantage. One of their favorite tricks, weight clauses. Tyson explained that Jake's team negotiates strict conditions that work entirely in his favor. Need to cut weight quickly to outpace your opponent, no problem. Want to bulk up at the last minute to overpower them. Done. These behind-the-scenes moves tip the scales literally in Jake's favor. To the casual fan, it all looks like a fair fight. But in reality, Jake's team ensures he's stepping into the ring with every edge possible.
Sucked gorilla balls. I hated it. A roided up 27-year-old fighting a 58-year-old senior citizen should have been illegal in the first place. I was already expecting to be disappointed, but was still blown out of the water with how bad it really was. I called it back in March, saying that this fight would suck, and that the Paul sisters were very good at generating hype only to deliver a letdown, and both those things happened. But still, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was a giant economic success. The Netflix servers were overloaded with how many people were trying to watch it. So money grab fights and mediocrity are now literally being celebrated. And it's so sad to see how far the business of boxing is really.
Then there's the media deception. According to Tyson, Jake Paul's team are masters at controlling the story. Every headline, every leaked video, every soundbite is part of a bigger strategy to sell Jake as a legitimate contender. They know how to frame his story so that even casual viewers start to. The hype. Tyson made it clear the line between athlete and entertainer has never been shorter. Jake isn't just fighting for wins, he's fighting for clicks and attention.
Pleasure you can take from beating an old Mike Tyson.
I believe he actually won the first 2 rounds. Jake Paul probably won the rest of them. Mike Tyson's legs were gone, man. They were gone. And I believe Ryan, I got to get Ryan credit on this one, man. Because Ryan from Sports Wars, he did say that there would be like a no-knock.
What's really infuriating, though, is how Jake's contracts are structured to favor his image over everything else. Tyson stated that there are clauses in place to ensure Jake always comes out looking good. Even if he gets knocked out cold, the narrative will be spun in his favor. This isn't about building a legacy in the ring. It's about building a brand that can survive any result. Tyson pointed out that Jake's focus isn't on boxing, it's on staying current, and honestly, he's a master at it.
It wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. No. Yeah. Overall, how'd you just see how Jake fought, how Mike fought?
Well, you know, you can tell something was wrong with the Tyson leg.
Yeah, the knee.
So he couldn't. His balance was off.
Oh, that's crazy. You noticed that. I just talked to his trainer and he told me that exact thing. His balance was off.
The balance is off.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the money. Tyson broke down how Jake Paul's fights are less about sport and more about cash. From pay-per-view deals to sponsorships, Jake's fights are financial gold mines. Traditional fighters fight for titles, glory, and honor. Jake fights for dollar signs. Tyson didn't hold back, calling out how this method is turning the sport into a cash grab. It's not about who's the better boxer, it's about who can sell the most tickets.
Around and wait for the result of that Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. That was the most pointless, stupid fight in the history of boxing. That was absolutely pathetic. Netflix couldn't even get your streaming situation figured out. What was that? Everybody's stream was lagging. You couldn't even figure that situation out. And then your first big launch of this like new sports streaming thing that you want to do is this Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight where Mike Tyson is clearly, I love Mike, love him. My dad is a massive, massive Mike Tyson fan. He was texting me saying how depressing it was for him to watch this. Jake Paul was selling it, I'm gonna kill Mike Tyson, I'm gonna fuck him up. And what happened? He showed mercy to Mike Tyson in the ring because Mike Tyson just didn't have it anymore. He had no legs under him. If you don't want to hurt the guy, why are you fighting him? Just to con us? To con people into buying more Netflix subscriptions?
This fight, Tyson's concerns go beyond Jake Paul, though he warned about the larger impact of influencer-driven boxing on the sport. As a whole, real boxers dedicate their lives to the craft training for years to earn their place in the ring, but now they're being overshadowed by social media stars who can barely throw a proper punch. Tyson fears that this trend is eroding the integrity of boxing, turning it into a spectacle that values fame over ability.
Point did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give
And really, that's the crux of the problem. Jake Paul's rise isn't just about him, it's about what his success says about the state of boxing. The sport has always been a test of discipline, skill, and heart. But with Jake Paul, it's become a stage for leaders to cash in on their fame. Tyson's revelations shine a harsh light on this new world. Boxing isn't about the love of the game anymore. It's about who can create the most buzz.
The knot, they went in, but yo, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. What do we got? Mike Tyson is 58 years old. Jake Paul is 27. 31-year difference. Most of us wanted to see Mike Tyson win. The nostalgia, we rock with Mike. A lot of us support Mike. Jake Paul, you know, the famous YouTuber that stepped into boxing. And we're not gonna go that far. We're not gonna kill him. So this was never really touted to be no real shit. A 31-year-old difference. But the fact that we support.
In the end, Tyson's exposed strips away the facade of Jake Paul's boxing career, showing it for what it really is, a carefully crafted spectacle designed to entertain, provoke, and most importantly, make money. From pre-fight drama to guaranteed paychecks, weight manipulations to media puppeteering, every part of Jake's rise is orchestrated to perfection. It's not about winning titles, it's about staying in the spotlight.
First 30, 45 seconds, that's it. It was a wrap. After that, he really had Jake Paul on his bike for a second. Let's be real. Jake Paul was on his bike for about the first minute of the first round. But after that, where was Mike? Nowhere to really be found. We just watched him bite his fucking glove the whole time. Roy Jones in there commentating, talking about his mouthpiece. No, that's just Mike being Mike, biting his...
The hardest part is working. Jake Paul has built an empire on the back of a sport that he's successfully turned into a circus. Love him or hate him, there's no denying his success. But as Tyson pointed out, the cost might be the soul of boxing itself.
Right hand to the body after the jab, laid the jab there, threw a good right to the body, pushed Mike off balance again because Mike wasn't ready for it. You don't like to see those kind of punches land because that tells you that his reflexes are off and coach out not what they used to be.
To us tonight, can find out sometime, but in terms of Jake Paul, you're right, Roy. He's turning into a boxer.
Yeah, good job.
For now, Jake Paul is laughing all the way to the bank, while the rest of us are left wondering what this means for the future of the sport. Will fans finally tire of the show? Or is this the new normal? One thing's for sure. As long as there are cameras rolling and checks to cash, Jake Paul isn't going anywhere.
He's still chasing Jake around the ring like that.
Again, these are 2-minute rounds. Tyson requested the 2-minute rounds, wanting to see more action. He just landed the overhand right, testing the beard of Paul.
Here we see Mike early landing his jab right there that really knocked Jake back. I think that's his most effective punch of the round. But then we see
move over to your left. So
the right hand grazes Mike Tyson by Jake Paul. That would have been a good shot had it been on the chin. So Mike barely escaped that one.
Let's go.
Well, I don't like Mike's legs at 58 though.
The first round he's won in more than 2 decades.
Yeah, I don't like Mike's legs.
Mike Tyson has pulled back the curtain on the wild, bizarre world of Jake Paul's boxing career, and the revelations are too outrageous to ignore. If you're tired of stage drama and scripted fights posing as real sports, it's time to rethink what you're watching. Share this article, spark a conversation. Hold the spotlight on boxing's real talent before the sport loses itself to influence our antics. What do you think, mastermind or menace? Leave your ideas below, and let's keep this debate alive.